When human rights are a luxury you can't afford, one man's quiet desperation collides with a runaway and a killer, changing his life forever. Spiraken Manga Review, episode 613. I'm Zan, and konnichiwa, aloha, buongiorno, what's up? And as you remember from the last episode, I spun that only the wheel of manga, and it dictated to me that I'm reviewing a manga that is one part cyberpunk, one part emotional depth, and a little bit of self-deprecation as well. And what are we talking about? We are talking about Mujin Into the Deep by Inio Asano. And this is a manga that has had a lot of buzz on Twitter because everyone has been calling this a critical darling. It's amazing, it's wonderful, it's great. Especially because this is the newest manga by the author of Goodnight Punpun, Solanin, and several other series. And is this manga worth the hype? Well, let's actually get to it because this is a alternate future where human rights are no longer guaranteed. Yep, the truth is that if you are into the system, you are guaranteed human rights. You pay for it, you are into it until you are 85 years old. You're going to work until you're 85 and then you are shipped away forever. And if you don't agree with this, you end up becoming what is called a Mujina. And what is a Mujina? It's pretty much the derogatory term for someone who is not in the system. You can't have a Metro card, you can't have an ID, you can't have a cell phone, and you can't go to the hospital. But besides that, laws don't really apply to you. So many Mujina have decided, well, because the laws don't apply to us, we can get away with as much possible. And this is that story of a world where Mujina exists and all the violence behind it. And pretty much the Mujina that we have are all different mercenaries and influencers and people who essentially are worshipped because of their independence, while the rest of the world deals with the humdrum regularness and they're confused by the Mujina who don't live in buildings. And our main character in this is actually a Mujina known as Ubume. And when we first see her, she has been hired for a mission because if you don't have a job, you got to take what you can get, right? And she ends up becoming one of the best killers of all time, an assassin. Because if you're really good at what you do, you can really make a killing, pun not intended. And she's been hired to kill someone, and in one of the best sequences I've seen in a while, you see a great fight sequence. And this is setting up this world where pretty much when you don't have a job, you do what you can to survive, and it is dynamic and violent and truly dark. But the thing is that Ubume is not the main character, really. Well, she should be the main character, but she's not because we're focusing on the world from her point of view. The main character of this story is a man whose name is Terume Morgan. His father was from Europe. His mother's Japanese. He was raised in Japan. He can't speak English at all, but that's who he is. And he is a regular human being who's in charge of a gaming company who's way behind on his deadline. He's divorced. He has issues with his ex-wife. He has issues with his son who he wants to spend more time with, and he hires a lot of prostitutes. Translation: this is the self-insert for Asano. Yes. This is Inuo's own self-insert, which he's done in things like Downfall and in Goodnight Punpun. And this is just a very depressed individual who's just trying to live in this world while ignoring all the buzz about Mujina. Until he gets involved with Abume and another girl. And the other girl that we're talking about is Juno. And Juno is a young girl who, unfortunately, she ran away to the big city. And she trusts a guy she met on the internet. You can see where this is going. Yep, she ends up getting traded, loses her ID, loses her stuff. Abume saves her, and then they end up running into Morgan in a specific. Well, we're not going to get into how they meet, but it's pretty what the hell. And now they have this weird found family as they're pulled into this insane situation. Now, this is a very rough and cut and non spoiler review of the situation because a lot more is going on. But this is the story where it's pretty much, yeah, it's it's this world and all the violence and also the backstories of these characters and much going on. And I can't really show most of the images from this story or talk about it because there is a lot of fucked up things in this. And usually I don't try to curse a lot, but this is one of those where it is there's sex trade, there's pretty much hired hits, there's drug use, there's super violence, there's cult like tendencies. It is a very dark world. It would be cyberpunk if there was more tech, but there isn't that much cyberpunk. but there is a lot of violence, a lot of swords, and a lot of cool stuff in it. The art style is, as usual, amazing and spectacular. The design for the world itself, it is dynamic. It is almost photorealistic. There's some sequences where it looks like they took a photo, then uh, Inio just drew the characters on top of it, like almost rotoscoped it. And then there are other scenes which look super cartoony, which I'm like, yeah, that kind of checks out with his art style. And that's the most beautiful, wonderful part of the story is the art style. The characters are dynamic, the scenes are great, and it's really well done. Also, the physical copy of the manga itself, well, it is spectacular. And what do I mean by spectacular? Well, let's be honest. This looks great. It has French folds on it. It's a nice red cover. It's a thick, nice cover, especially for a Viz signature. This looks beautiful. The smell is great. Now for the part I've kind of been ignoring and not talking about is the actual narrative itself. Now, as I said before, this is a critical darling. People love this. I think it's great. I personally am having a lot of trouble with it because honestly, your main character when you introduce it is Ubume, then it immediately shifts into Morgan, who is, as I said, Asano's main insert character. And Asano isn't a likable person. He's not a good person. He's a piece of shit, to be honest with you. The fact that he's trying to fix things with his wife, or not fix things with his wife, he wants to stay with touch with his stepson, kind of memorable. But for the most part, he's not a good person. He's not endearing. He's not remarkable. And when I posed my problem with talking about this, very famous podcaster and friend, associate friend, Daryl, thank you. He said straight up, like, this character was designed to be written as a 1970s character, where it's more you don't like them. It's just he's a piece of garbage in a world, and I could see that. However, I've never felt a really bad taste in my mouth before this. It's like I don't like him. I don't care. Like I said, if he died in a ditch, honestly, I'd be like, okay, cool. Let's focus on the other characters because honestly, Juno's story is fascinating. Ibume's story is fascinating, and we get more into it later on. I went another volume further to make sure that I wasn't crazy. But if you're just doing the one manga test, you're either going to really like this or you're going to hate this. It's a different story. It's a dark story, but it's not a good story. And I'm a huge proponent of cyberpunk. I love the cyberpunk world where people are dirty and nitty and gritty, and you're rooting for them. Neuromancer is a great book. Cyberpunk Edge Runner. David, you root for him. He's a flawed character, but he's a cool character. V from 2077, flawed character, but you root for him. This one, you really have no one to root for. You have multiple points of view, which should work, and the thing is, Asano knows how to write well. We've seen him write amazingly. What happened? Is he going through shit again? Is that it? Is this him like saying, I want to write action, but I don't know how to incorporate it with my narrative, so I can't this feels disjointed. It feels disjointed and it's frustrating to me. And I was going back and forth on this. I mean, and also I didn't bring up the fact that there's tons of sex in this. Tons of sex. And that's why I didn't show a lot of the images. There's tons of sex in this. I mean, you have a character immediately in 3 chapters in banging a bunch of hookers and talking to his mark, being like, yeah, you guys take care of it. I'm going to do this. And then Morgan hiring prostitutes and watching porn. It's real. On the one hand, it's a real world. But this is like a little life. This is one of those where it's like they're detestable people, but you're not detestable, but it's like, I don't think this is going to end happily. I don't think it's going to end good. I don't know. I mean, the action parts are saving grace, which is a good thing. And the art is great. Now, if you enjoy this series, if you think it's great, that is wonderful. I applaud you for it. For me personally, after thinking about it, going through the narrative, going through the style, and trying to figure out something, a character I liked, or this, that, kind of came up short. The most interesting character is honestly the world. And we don't get into it too much. We don't discover what the premise of what a Mujina is until the last chapter of the first volume, and it's not even explained well. I had to research to figure out what the deal with the Mujina was, what the law was, how it works, because they didn't explain it. And that is a shame. It really is. So for that reason, I'm gonna have to give this, unfortunately, a Gift from a Crazy Aunt Muriel. It's okay, but in the end, forgettable. I mean, this has some beautiful, visceral, hyper dynamic artwork that looks amazing. Some of these are truly groundbreaking sequences, and you could follow this almost like a storyboard. A real live action film would be unique for this. Um, and as I said, this physical presentation, the actual release, is a prestige level release. This is one of the most beautiful new releases we've seen in a while. That's not a omnibus. This is a single volume. It's not big, but it looks great, smells brand new after months of it being on a shelf, probably. And they're color pages, and the color looks, it pops, it looks real. And the bleak, unflinching cyberpunk atmosphere for this works so well. It is that dark world where you're just going to the ground. There are no megacorps in this. It's just the government. It's the people versus the government and government situation. And but we don't get into the government situation too much. It's just the Mujina are the issue. It's like the Mujina don't follow the laws, so that's where they're at. So now the cons about this. One, these characters are, it's like this unlikable, sleazy characterization of the characters makes you feel uncomfortable. The best character, if you're going from a morally point of view, is Juna, and she's someone who ran away to Tokyo and was almost immediately sold into slavery because she agreed with the wrong person. That should make you feel really creeped out. It's really just gross. Who knows? I don't know. The narrative roughness is a big issue. This should have been streamlined. Asano knows better. He writes better. And as I said, I know people who are totally on this, and that's fine. I think I expected too much. I expected too much, and I feel kind of bad about that. And then the other element of this is extremely niche. This is extremely niche. If you are someone who wants something uberly violent and crazy, you're going to get a decent amount, but this is not Gantz. This is not Fist of the North Star. This is not Solo Leveling. This is not that level of violence. There's some great set pieces, but the in-betweens are going to leave you like, I'm bored now. I don't need to know about this guy who's depressed, who's not going to go to the hospital because he has re-COVID, which is apparently COVID-19 times 10. You're not going to give a shit about Morgan. You're really not. You're going to want to know more about Ubume. And even if you're like, I can get into this. I can get into Morgan's story because I understand it. I've been divorced. I've been that. Well, I don't know what to say. But anyway, I digress. So tropes for this are going to be the amnesiac weapon because Ubume has some memory issues. You have the caste system cyberpunk situation where literally it is you have the humans who have human rights who pay into it. You have the elderly who are shipped away wherever, and then you have the Mujina who are the slave class essentially. And then of course the found family, the protective dryad, which you have between Juno, Morgan, and Ubume. So these are the different tropes, and this is what I think about the series. It is a okay series. It's not bad. It is very pretty. It is well done. And it's a mature manga. I'm not gonna be like, oh no, you shouldn't read this because this is a good series. It's not a great series. I don't understand why it's critical darling. I really don't. I mean, I get it, and everyone I know who likes it, they appreciate it and they think it's wonderful. I get that. For me personally, I'm not a fan of it. I'm not. Yeah, this is great. No, just I don't know. Well, if you agree with me or you disagree with me, you can email me personally at Zan, that's xan@spiraken.com, or comment down below. Let me know your thoughts. Do you think I'm being too harsh on Mujina Into the Deep? Do you think I'm being too soft on it? Or am I being too hard on it? Well, what are your thoughts? Did you love this series? Did you hate it? Let me know. So, with that in mind, let's actually get to the manga releases for the week. And we've got some very dynamic ones and some which are just like I was shocked about this week. And what are we talking about? We're talking about Yadare Dark Elf, She Chased Me All the Way from Another World, Volume 4. The World After the Fall, Volume 12. When I Became a Commoner, They Broke Off Our Engagement, Volume 6. What It Means to Be You, Volume 3. The Way of the House Husband, Volume 15. The Villainess Stands the Hero, Playing the Antagonist to Support Her Faves, Volume 5. Vampire Hunter D, Omnibus Book 10. This one I've been waiting for a while to come out, and it's pretty cool. You've got Unnamed Memory, Volume 7, Undead Unluck, Volume 23, Twin Jades of Jangdong, Volume 1, Trillions Game, Volume 9, Triage X, Volume 29, Sword Art Online, Re-Inarad, Volume 4, Strategic Lovers, Volume 4, Spy X Family Craft Your Own Paper Toys set, where you start off with Anya Forger, Someone's Girlfriend, Volume 5, Smoking Behind the Supermarket with You, Volume 6, Sister and Giant, Volume 5, Sheeta's Little Big World, Volume 3, Shadow House, Volume 10, Semantic Error, Volume 1, Scenes from Awajima, Volume 1, Rooster Fighter, Volume 9, Revenge of the Baskerville Bloodhound, Volume 1, Reincarnated as a Sword, Volume 16, Red River, Omnibus 16, 17, 18, Record of Ragnarok, Volume 17, Rascal Does Not Dream of Dreaming Girl, The Ragnarok System of the Disparate Reincarnated Demon Lord and the Seven Aggressive Maidens, Volume 2, Overgeared, Volume 9, The Other World's Books Depend on the Bean Counter, Volume 6, the anime for this just dropped, A Not So Wicked Stepmom, Volume 8, My New Life as a Cat, Volume 12, Minato's Laundromat, Volume 6, Merry Witch Life, Volume 3, Maidens of the Needle, Volume 5, The Maid I Recently Hired is Mysterious, Volume 8, the final volume, Mega Lumiere, Magical Girls Incorporated, Volume 11, Low Tide in Twilight, Volume 1, Loverboy, Volume 4, Little Miss Vampire Can't Suck Right, Volume 2, Level 1 Demon Lord and One Room Hero, Volume 10, Konosuba's Even More Explosions on This Wonderful World, Volume 2, Kingdom, Volume 3, Kindergarten Wars, Volume 3, Killed Again, Mr. Detective, Volume 2, which is the final volume, Kei Yaku, Bound by Law, Volume 10, Joyful Reunion, Fei Ten Yangjing, Book 3, Itaewon Class, Volume 8, the final volume, In Another World with My Smartphone, Volume 15, Immortality and Punishment, Volume 1, the Evil Lord of an Intergalactic Empire, Light Novel Number 10, Hikari Man, 7-8, Kamadua, Volume 5, or Hi, I'm a Witch and My Crush Wants Me to Make a Love Potion, Heterogenea Linguistico, Volume 6, Hakumi and Mikochi, Volume 13, Goblin Slayer Side Story Year 1, Volume 13, The Girl I Saved on the Train Turned Out to Be My Childhood Friend, Volume 10, Gachakuta, Volume 9, Dungeon Builder, The Demon King's Labyrinth is a Modern City, Volume 12, Double Trouble, Twice as Nice, Volume 2, Dear Door, Volume 2, Dead Mount Death Play, Volume 2, The Cursed Swordmaster's Harem Life, Volume 5, The Climber, Volume 4, Cherry Magic 30 Years of Virginity Can Make You a Wizard, Volume 15, Cats with a Job, Volume 2, Bungo Stray Dog, Volume 26, Bride of the Barrier Master, Volume 5, The Boxer, Volume 12, The Bochi the Rock Comic Anthology, Volume 2, The Blue Wolves of Mibu, Volume 8, Blue Lock, Volume 26, Beware the Villainess, Volume 6, Betrothed to My Sister's Ex, the manga and the light novel. Then we have The Akashi Hunter's Tainted Bride, Volume 6, Adam the Beginning, Volume 13, Aphoreta from Commonplace to World's Strongest, light novel number 15, and then last and certainly not least, we've got After God, Volume 8. So these are the manga releases for the week. Which one were you most excited about? Which one are you going to talk about the most? For me personally, my top 5 for this week are going to be Betrothed to My Sister's Ex, Volume 1, the light novel, because the anime was actually really well done. Immortality and Punishment, Volume 1. This series looks insane, really dark, and I love the twisted nature of this. Seems a little bit more like, let's say, No Longer Human. Then you have The Maid I Retired Recently is Mysterious, Volume 8, which is the final volume of the series. We're going to finally find out what her deal is. Revenge of the Baskerville Bloodhound. It is a Sherlock Holmes inspired isekai, so this one looks interesting. And then Scenes from Awajima, the artwork looks spectacular. So these are my releases for the week and the ones I'm most excited about. Which ones are you most excited about? So, regardless, I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I appreciate each and every one of you check this out. Every email I get, every new comment, every new subscriber gives me more motivation to keep doing this. I love doing it, so thank you so much. And if you'd like to like, share, subscribe, remember you can check us out at www.spiraken.com. We're on Instagram, Spotify, Stitcher, TikTok, Blue Skies, various other social media sites. Just type in SPIRAK and I'll get you find one way or the other. If you're watching on YouTube, as always, remember to like, share, subscribe, and click on that bell for notification for when we release new episodes. We've been doing a lot of shorts recently where I've been just compiling some of the more interesting parts of the episode, including my top 5 of the week. You can check that out on Instagram and TikTok. And then finally, the last part, the part which is kind of fun, last bit of news. I am feeling better, as you can see. I'm more energized. Also, since I haven't been drinking soda and coffee, my body feels amazing. I don't get it. I'm like, I am suddenly better. Maybe it's because of the soda that's made me so lagging. Who knows? But I feel like pretty, like, wow. So that's good. So we're going to be getting more episodes soon. So anyway, thank you for checking out this episode. And let's get to the part that you've been all waiting for and the most popular part of this episode. And what are we talking about? We are talking about that one, that only, the Wheel of Manga! Yes, friends, the Wheel of Manga, except no substitute. Now, what is the Wheel of Manga? The Wheel of Manga is a Wheel of Fortune with 10 slots on it. And what I've done is I've assigned a manga title to each of 10 slots. So we're going to just spin the wheel. Whatever number it lands on, that's the manga I'm going to review in the next episode of the Spiraken Manga Review, episode 614. And I'm excited to talk about some of these. We've got some really good ones on here, some really old ones, and one which I was shocked came out. So let's spin and see what we're going to review in the next episode, Joe. Betrothed to My Sister's Ex, number 3 again. It's kind of a interesting choice. I did 3 again. If it does 3 again, I'm going to spin again next week. But Betrothed to My Sister's Ex is the one I'm going to review in the next episode. Is it going to be good? Is it going to be bad? Well, we're going to find out. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this episode. As usual, I am your host, Zan. I am Gonzville. We'll catch you guys next time. And as always, keep reading manga. I'll see you later.